Hi kids, it's me, Mr. Tony, and it's that time again for a new week of video art lessons. And here I have our introduction, art, A-R-T, and you'll notice I've done something inside of the letters. Okay, it's a little kind of a graphic design there. Some of you may recognize it, some of you may know that this week we are doing the country of Jamaica, and this is the Jamaican flag. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing all week. We're going to be doing the culture, which is the art and music and other things of Jamaica. Food, things they eat down in Jamaica. Jamaican jerk chicken, one of my favorite kinds of chicken. I don't know a lot about Jamaican culture, actually. Jamaican art, visual art, actually. I do know a little bit about their music. I know reggae music's a very popular music, and ska, which is a kind of reggae music that is played in England and here in the United States. But that's what we're going to be doing all week, and I'm going to do a little bit of visual art. Let's learn a little bit about Jamaica first. Where is Jamaica? Well, it's a small island nation in the Caribbean, and it's actually near this island. And we learned about this the other week. This is the Dominican Republic, okay, and that's on the island of Hispaniola. And over here, this little island right here is Jamaica. I tried to put yellow, green, and black, the colors of the Jamaican flag in there. Kind of hard to do because it's a pretty small island compared to Hispaniola with the Dominican Republic, and Cuba, which is just above it, just north of it. Yeah, that's Cuba, but this is Jamaica down here. And it's a Caribbean island nation in the Caribbean Sea. Dog is barking. I hope that doesn't distract you. And I'll just keep going because who knows what he's barking at. Okay, Jamaica, that's Jamaica. And we're gonna do something related to what I've done here with art. We're gonna do the Jamaican flag. We're gonna make a flag, color a flag. And we are gonna do that with paper, half-size paper, okay? Coloring is a lot of back and forth, so I thought, well, let's not do a full-size sheet. Let's use a half-size paper. And I have one here somewhere that I folded up. What did I do with it? I don't know what I did with it. I folded it up as an example for you. Hold on. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Got to keep my things in order before I start my program. Okay, so if you don't want to do a full-size flag, you can take your paper and just fold it in half. Okay, and if you give it a really good crease, you don't have to use scissors. You can use scissors, okay? You can cut right along that fold, or you can just tear it. If you give it a good enough crease, a really good crease, which is what I did, I can kind of tear it right in midair, and it's going to tear right along the crease. But you really have to crease it. You really have to make that a sharp fold for that to work. Okay, there you go, half a page. I already have one made up. I just wanted to demonstrate that for you in case you didn't have scissors. Okay, so all you're going to need, obviously, is paper and crayons. And I'm going to add a little bit of watercolor to it, which you can do as well if you have watercolors, or you can just work with the crayons. Okay, so the Jamaican flag, you'll notice, is 3 colors: yellow, green, and black. Okay, and the basic shape is a big X. Okay, and then on top of the X you have green, and on bottom under the X you have green, and then on the sides you have black. Black there and black there. It's maybe a little hard to tell what's going on with the flag because it's tucked inside the letters, which is a fancy little design trick, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to make the flag. Okay, so First step, I'm gonna locate the center right about there. Okay, and then I'm gonna go from one corner down to the other corner. Let me get the paper in position here. Got a little fold there. Might need another piece of tape. Hold on. So it doesn't move around on me. I'll tape it down the corner there. Actually, let me tape it over here. Okay, so I'm going to aim from this corner down to the other corner. Okay, you could use a ruler if you really wanted to be exact, and you could put the ruler from corner to corner and then make a straight line. But I think if you just aim from corner to corner, you're going to get something that's good enough. And then I want to make it thicker. Okay, that's just one single thin line. So let's say I do another line right next to it, a little ways away from it, and then maybe another line over here, like that. And then I just fill it in. And this is the back and forth part of coloring. But since the paper is half size, it should take about half as much time. And I don't have to fill every inch of the page, just most of it. But I want it to look like a pretty solid yellow line. It's okay that there are little gaps because I'm going to go back with watercolor at the end. And you'll see that those little gaps will look nice when I add the watercolor. But I'm kind of jumping ahead. Let's stick with the flag. Okay, that's the first part of the X. And the second part of the X is the same thing, going from this corner over to the opposite corner. Okay, I'm just going to kind of aim it right through the center there. Might be hard to see the yellow because it's so light. Okay, that's the center line of that stripe. Okay, and now we have to make it into a thick stripe like this one. So I'll add more on this side and more underneath. Like that, and then I'll color it in. Now there are a bunch of different ways you can do a flag. You can do it with paints. Here I'm doing it with crayon. You could do it with cut paper, and you could cut the paper exactly to the shape. But I don't think that's terribly interesting. This gives it a little more texture. Okay, gives it all those strokes that I'm making with the crayon. Okay, big yellow X. Is that through the center? It's a little off center. That's all right. Sometimes I get very fussy with designs because I've done work in design, in packaging, and everything has to be just right when you're doing that kind of work. But this is art, and you guys are just learning, so you don't have to be fussy. You just do your best. Okay, big yellow X. Next, let's move on to the other color we have, yellow and then green. The third color is black, which is kind of a color, but it's actually kind of the lack of color when you think about it. There's no color in it at all. If you turned out all the lights and things were pitch black, there'd be nothing to see. So black is kind of like no color in a way. It's not as bright as the other colors, that's for sure. Okay, I'm gonna do an outline first. Okay, and the green is going up there, kind of sitting on top of that yellow X. Again, I'll go back and forth, back and forth. And I kind of like those little strokes that I'm making there. Gives it texture, gives it a little character. Okay, that's the first green part, and then there's another green part on the opposite side, or right underneath it, opposite that first green part. So, like that. Now again, I want to press hard enough to make it a nice, solid, heavy green. And whenever you're pressing hard, remember, hold your crayon down near the tip, because it's liable to break if you're holding it back here and you're pressing hard. I think I broke a crayon the other day when I was doing something. What they need to do is invent a crayon holder that can hold that little piece, and you don't have to worry about the whole crayon breaking. Okay, that's the green. A little more up there, missed a couple spots. And last, that very dark color, which is kind of like no color, black. And that's going to be on the sides of the X. Really what I'm doing is I'm just making another shape over here. You'll notice it's a triangle. Let me get rid of this tape. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles that I'm making. 2 green triangles, and then 2 black triangles. This is the first one. I'm going to get close to the edge, but I don't have to get right up to the edge. Okay, that's the first one, and then the next one, the other one, the second one, second black triangle over here. And that's it. That's the Jamaican flag. Oh, you know what I forgot? I was going to play some music. I'll play that when I put the watercolor on. Yeah, I was thinking about Jamaican music, which I'm aware of. I'm aware of reggae music. Bob Marley is one of the most famous reggae musicians. But there's lots of good reggae music out there. But there's another kind of music that came before reggae, and it's called mento calypso. And I just learned about that today. I looked it up because I knew about calypso music, which is kind of a Caribbean style music, which sometimes has the metal, I think they're called marimbas, or they're metal drums. And the player will hit little spots on these metal drums and will get different tones. Those aren't marimbas. I'm not sure what they're called. I think they're just called metal drums. But those are a certain type of calypso. So I looked up calypso in Jamaica to see if that's where that kind of calypso music comes from. And it turns out that Jamaica has its own style of calypso music, which is a little different from other calypso music, and it's called mento. And I found some online here. I had set that up to play. And so I will play it while I'm doing the watercolor. Okay, it's got that Caribbean beat. Okay, watercolor. Let me turn it down a little bit. Maximum volume. Okay, this is music from the 1950s, so it's going to sound a little old. This sounds like a familiar tune, actually. what I'm doing here with the watercolor is I'm making a little brown. I'm gonna add brown to this. And it's gonna give it a little more of an earthy look. It'll make it a little more interesting than just the plain old Jamaican flag colors. Or at least that's what I'm thinking. Let's see what happens. Okay, and if you'll recall, this is called wax resist. So I have waxy colors with the crayon. And I'm adding the watercolor on top of the waxiness. And the wax kind of resists the paint. It resists the watercolors. It's all kind of beaten up there. Yeah, I see some on the edge. A little brown over there. A little brown up there. It makes it a little more interesting, I think. I should have left more white space to get the brown to come out, the crayon there. I don't know what that singer's singing about. Sounds like she's singing about a tree, but she is singing in English, which is the language of Jamaica. Jamaican English, but they also have something called patois, which is kind of a mix of languages. It has a little Creole, which is kind of a French, Cajun type language. All sorts of phrases, but the main language is English, but it has a very accented quality to it. Really do not know. Okay, so that's it, a Jamaican flag. I think the brown makes it look like it's kind of an old flag, like it's been around for a while. Which is kind of neat, especially the edges. Yeah, that looks good. I like it. So that's it for today. I tried to keep the lesson kind of quick. I know I tend to go on, but this one was pretty quick and not too hard. Okay, the Jamaican flag. Okay, and that's it for our first art lesson of the week, Jamaica week. And I hope you enjoyed it and you were able to do it. If not, you just watch and you learned a little bit about Jamaica and about coloring and shapes and the Jamaican flag. Okay, so I will see you next time. Bye-bye.